in a fixed amount of solution. That means what is the meaning of it? Basically concentration of solution. The answer is right, is nothing but the amount of solute upon the amount of solution. Now, what is the meaning of this? Amount of solute तो वही रहेगा. Upon what is solution? Solution is made up of what? Solute and solvent. ठीक है ना? हम लोग क्या लिख सकते हैं इसमें? Amount of solute plus amount of what? Solvent. Again, now what is important over here to understand, if this is the amount of solute upon the amount of solute plus amount of solvent, that is nothing but the concentration. So if the amount of solute is more, the concentration of solution is also more, right? If the amount of solute is less, concentration is also less, right? So one can say, for example, if suppose I have got 5 grams of solute dissolved in 95 grams of solvent, right? So when I add this 5 grams of 9 to 95, you'll get what? 95 plus what is the amount of solvent? Amount of solvent 95. Amount of solute is what? Let us say 5 grams. So 5 grams plus 95. ठीक है, कितना हो जाएगा? 5 grams per 100 grams of solution. In 100 grams of solution, after 5 grams of solute is there. So this is the concentration, right? If a child takes, for example, instead of 5 grams, he takes 10 grams of solute. So 10 grams of solute, and he makes up that particular, he adds 90 grams of solvent. Then it will be how much? 10 upon what? Okay. Attendance. Fine. Okay. क्या मिलेगा आपको? 10 grams of solute in 100 grams of solution, right? So where the concentration is more, इसमें concentration ज़्यादा होगा, 10 grams, because the mass of solution is same, but the amount of solute is more. So more amount of solute, more concentration. Like one student actually what prepares a cup of tea and he adds 2 teaspoonfuls of sugar. And another student prepares the same amount of tea, okay, but by putting 1 teaspoonful of sugar. So कितना हो जाएगा? I mean, where the sweetness of the tea will be more? First or second? 2 teaspoonful or 1 teaspoonful? So definitely the amount of sugar will be more in that. So this is concentration. But now, how to actually express the concentration? You can express the concentration, expression of concentration of solution. The first way of expressing the concentration is what? Mass percentage. Okay, yeah, percentage mass percentage. Well, don't write anything, listen to it. What is percentage mass? Percentage mass means what? It is mass of solute in grams upon mass of solution in grams multiplied by 100. Okay. This is mass product. This is like saying, for example, you have taken 10 grams of solute, okay, and you have dissolved in what? For example, 100 grams of solvent. 100 grams of solvent. So, कितना हो जाएगा children? Or 100 and let us say, for example, 10 grams of solvent. 110 plus 10, कितना हो जाएगा? Will be 120 grams of solution. Yes or no? Into added with 100 grams of solution. Now, suppose 10 gram 120 ग्राम है, तो 100 ग्राम में कितना होगा? That is going to be called as percentage. Multiply by 100 done. Okay, so how much is it? It's like saying this way: a student is getting out of 120 marks paper, he is getting 10 marks. If somebody wants to know, had it been 100 marks paper, how much you would be getting? So for that, 120 इधर लिया, ठीक है? इसको एक कैंसिल कर दो, ठीक है? और ये 12 हो गया, तो ये कितना है? 100, ठीक है ना? Now, what is it? 12 it's a 96, ना? Right or not? 96 कितना बचा? 4.12. 12 threes are फिर अपना 4 बचा 3.8. That means he is having a 8.333%. This is mass percentage or percentage mass. That means if it is 100, what is a marks paper is getting 8.33 marks. If added with 200 marks paper, it would have been what 16.66. Yes or no? Percentage mass. Say what? Now there is one more important thing, that is actually what mass. This is mass to mass relation. Now the solute be, for example, we can say, for example, solute is nothing but what in terms of solid. Solution also is in terms of what solid. Those solid को आपने mix कर दिए, ठीक है? या फिर अपना, for example, solution is expressed in grams. Maybe it is liquid. But suppose if you are having, for example, volume percentage. A percentage in terms of volume, okay, where both, for example, here we are having the solute liquid and solvent also liquid. So it is going to be called as what? Percentage volume. So what is percentage volume? Percentage volume is nothing but what? Is equal to volume of, volume of solute upon volume of solution into volume is expressed in what? Volume is expressed in ml, yes or no? And volume of solute is also expressed in ml. So suppose you are having, for example, again same thing, if you are having 10 ml of solute, let us say dissolved in 90 ml of solvent, right? So in total mass, total volume of solution कितना होगा? The 10 ml, 90 ml of solvent will mix here. So total volume of the solution will be how much? This plus 10 इसमें add कर देगा into 100. How much is it? 10 upon 100 into 100. So directly you can say, sir, I've got 10% concentrated solution. Yes, no? Will I add? Okay, so this is nothing but what volume percentage, which volume of solute upon volume of solution. That is solution. We can have, for example, 9 types of solution. Okay? Sir, how many types of solution are possible? Last time, have we discussed the types of solution? No. So what are the different types of? We'll try to work on different types of solutions. Now this is what children, we can have mass to mass relation, right? ये क्या children? Volume to volume. But और एक mass to volume है बीच में. Okay, वो पहले complete करिए, then I will tell you. क्या हुआ? नहीं दिख रहा है आपको इधर या दोनों जगह बोथ ऑफ यू क्यों ठीक है उधर ओके कौन सा पार्ट नहीं दिख रहा है आपको वॉल्यूम ऑफ सोल्यूट अपॉन वॉल्यूम ऑफ सॉल्यूशन इनटू 100 the space may have total I propagate ठीक है in case there is any doubt आप पूछिए don't be hesitant sometimes what happens this space is not there so I write a little bit smaller Srinidhi done or not
yes sir
हो गया आपको दिख रहा है इस साइड वाला दिख रहा है कि नहीं दिख रहा होगा
yes sir
now you are able to see na so have you written this part without seeing
I wrote the mass part sir not the volume
इसीलिए अरे बाबा यही मैं बोल रहा हूँ जब नहीं दिख रहा you tell me right अभी दिख रहा है आपको now you write on both ये into 100 है Yeah, all of you done. नहीं जाएगा ना now what is important over here okay sabka any doubts we can now let us see one more important way of expressing the concentration here we can change it here this is percentage mass but what is happening over here this mass of solution के जगह पे हम लोग क्या लेंगे चलो volume ठीक है volume is expressed in solid and liquid type of solution right so here I'm not giving the example I'm just telling you now how we consider this mass upon volume ठीक है इसको mass versus volume या weight by volume ले लेते हैं पहले वाला क्या था weight by weight ठीक है दूसरा क्या था volume by volume तीसरा क्या है weight by volume ठीक है now understand this mass of solute in grams upon volume of solution in ml that means if you say sir I have got 120 grams of solution ठीक है ना and let us say I have got 20 grams of solute but that 120 grams is equal to we consider as what 120 ml that means density of that solution is 1 what is density grams per ml in 1 gram is equal to 1 ml तो हम लोगों को तभी कंसिडर करना पड़ेगा अज्यूम करना पड़ेगा कि ये डेंसिटी जो सॉल्यूशन का है वो 1 ग्राम पर एमएल यानी डेंसिटी मींस मास इज इक्वल टू वॉल्यूम 1 ग्राम का 1 ml 2 ग्राम का 2 ml ऐसा करके ठीक है ना, याद रखना। तो यहाँ पे आप क्या करना है, सिर्फ इधर चेंज करना है 120 ml into 100। सेम चीज है, सिर्फ इधर याद रखना, डेंसिटी इज इक्वल टू व्हाट, इधर लिख सकते हैं डेंसिटी इज इक्वल टू ऑफ द सॉल्यूशन इज इक्वल टू 1 ग्राम पर ml, यानी 1 ग्राम इज इक्वल टू 1 ml। ठीक है, नाउ अब इसको सॉल्व करना है। ये क्या हो जाएगा, दिस इज 10 राइट, 2 नाउ दिस इज वन थिंग, फॉर एग्जांपल 2 6 2 5 2 3 राइट, and this is 2 10 50 upon 3 हो गया। Now direct division will do, what is that, 3 1s right, फिर कितना हो गया, 2 बचा, 3 6 then again this is 2, am I right or not, 16.66, that is 16.7 million, yes or no, mass percent। ठीक है, ये आगे सबको mass percentage is 16.67% is the percentage। Did you follow, write down this mass by volume, और percentage mass में ही आ जाएगा वो, ठीक है, उसके नीचे ही लिख दीजिए, below that you write down। Okay, now let's understand the types of solution। Now we are talking about types of solution which are true solution, clear solution, very ये लिख लीजिए। Okay, now let's come to the types of solutions। Okay, the solutions are basically a solute plus, you add a solute to a solvent and you get a solution। Solute is what, a minor quantity of a substance, right, or a smaller quantity। Solute is always present in a smaller quantity, whereas solvent is always present in a larger quantity, right? Smaller quantity, larger quantity। Now we can have, for example, different types of solutes. We can have, for example, a solute which is actually what, solid। Solvent is also solvent, right now? Solute solid, solvent liquid, solute solid, solvent gas। Example क्या होगा चीज़, solute in solid will be called as what, alloys। One percentage of metal will be less, another percentage of metal will be more, like brass, bronze, German silver, steel. Okay, so whenever combination of metals and metals and metals and non-metals, the metal which is in larger quantity will be solvent. Okay, then solid and liquid क्या हो सकता है? Sodium chloride solution, sugar solution, ठीक है ना? Salt solution. Solid in gas. What is that? Sublime. Sublimation of what? Camphor, yes. Naphthalene. Ammonium chloride. Yes, sublimable substance. Right? Then, fourth क्या है children? अब क्या आ रहा है? अब solid का तो हो गया, अब liquid का टर्न आ गया. Liquid in what? Solid. Liquid in liquid. Liquid in gas. क्या बोल सकते हैं इधर? Liquid in solid क्या हो सकता है? Liquid particles in solid. Solid में liquid क्या हो सकता है? Example. एक solid में liquid. Huh? Solid and then liquid is there. Okay. Any other example?
Salt in water. Salt.
Huh?
Salt in water.
Salt in water. नहीं, liquid particles in solid. नहीं, वो नहीं. Hydrous salt आपको मालूम है ना? What is hydrous salt? Copper sulfate 5H2. Right now? So they absorb moisture and actually what? It is nothing but what? Solid दिखेगा लेकिन उसमें moisture absorb हुआ. Hydrated crystal. Like आपको मालूम है, for example, Epsom salt. Have you heard of Epsom salt? Glauber's salt. Here they contain these 5 water molecules along with them. Liquid in liquid. So all hydrous salts are in this category. Then liquid in liquid कौन सा है? Alcohol in water. Yes or no? Okay. Then liquid in gas. Liquid in gas क्या है?
Dry ice.
Huh?
Dry ice.
Dry ice. नहीं, dry ice नहीं. इसमें dry ice में कैसे होगा? वो तो solid है ना? वो solid है. Solid carbon dioxide. Moisture in air. Yes or no? About moisture, humidity in air. Air gas है. Moisture क्या है? Liquid. Water vapor. Then now ये liquid का. अब gas. Gas in solid. Gas in liquid. And gas in gas. Now gas in gas तो आपको मालूम है, air. Gas in liquid क्या होगा? Dissolved oxygen. Dissolved gases in air. Sorry, in water. Yes or no? Gas in solid. Huh? Gas in solid. Yes. Okay. Gas in solid or yeah, dry ice बोल सकते हैं. Or you can say, for example, one more thing. What is that? For example, sponge. Sponge में आपको pores मिलेगा और उसमें आपका air रहेगा ना? Gas in solid. या rubber ले लो. Rubber porous है. Coal में थोड़ा gas, you know, for example, the porous nature of that coal is actually what? Absorbing gas. Okay? So yeah. These are the 9 types of solutions basically, and they are homogeneous kind of system. Clear? So, I mean, of course, we cannot always talk in terms of solutions, but definitely there are 9 types of solutions possible. Clear? Now, what is important over here, when we prepare a solution, normally in our everyday life situation, we normally take what type of solution? Okay, we normally take solid and liquid type of solution. Yes or no? Okay, अब जब prepare करने के time when we actually want prepare a solid and liquid or we prepare a solution in which liquid contains some amount of solid, then definitely on the basis of how much amount of solute is dissolved in a solvent, okay, on the basis of solubility or on the basis of the amount of solute, we can have three types of solutions in. One is said to be what? Unsaturated solution. Yes or no? Second is said to be what? Saturated solution. Third is said to be what? Super saturated. ये चैप्टर हुआ है क्या आपके स्कूल में हो गया नहीं हुआ okay. Now let me explain you this. For example, unsaturated solution is what? Suppose you take a container, beaker, and in this beaker you take some amount of water, a fixed amount of solvent. ठीक है? इसमें तुमने actually what? 1 gram of solute add किए. Okay, let us say 100 grams of solvent. Right? Agar 1 gram of salt add here, the moment you add and you take a stirrer, immediately what? Dissolve. Okay? Now you add 1.1 gram. That point, 1.1 add here, उसमें और 0.1 add कर दो. 0.1 वो भी dissolve हो गया. करते करते 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 2 तक आ गए. पूरा dissolve हो गया. But the moment you add, for example, after 1 gram you have added to 2 grams, that is you have dissolved 2 gram maximum here, 2 grams हो गया. Okay? The moment you add, for example, 2.1 gram, 0.1 gram और add किया इसके बाद, तो 0.1 dissolve नहीं हुआ. That means here till 2 gram the solution, or before 2 gram the solution was unsaturated. It's what the meaning of unsaturated. Okay, part of it has got dissolved. Now here 2 grams is nothing but what? It is the amount of solute, okay, which has been dissolved, but it is actually what? Right? We can say, for example, just below 2 grams the solution was unsaturated. Means the solution which contains lesser amount of solute in the solution till this particular point, that is 2.1, जैसे तुमने 0.1 और add किया after 2 grams, the solute remains undissolved. Now this particular solute which has remained undissolved means the solution has come to a saturation point, yes or no? That means the solution has got maximum amount of solute, yes or no? Which is almost 2 grams. 2.1 gram डाल दिया, that means solution is saturated. That means now, when you actually want, for example, you want to dissolve this also, थोड़ा heat कर देंगे आप. Heat करेंगे तो क्या होगा? The particles of solvent will slightly move away, and they will give room for these particles to get dissolved. Okay, and then cool it. Heat करने के बाद इसको cool कर देंगे, and you will find that here this particular solution is having what? 2.1 gram of solute, but completely dissolved away. Then this solution will be what? Called as supersaturated. A supersaturated solution is that solution here which actually what contains more or maximum amount of solute. This is saturated is nothing but that solution which contains maximum amount of solute. Unsaturated solution is that solution which contains what? Less than the maximum, which is actually what? Which can be dissolved. Okay, therefore unsaturated. It's like saying that you're studying at home, okay, and you are having a capacity to study for 2 hours. And somebody says, sir, study for 2 point, or 5 minutes per do. 2 minutes per do. क्यों? क्योंकि तुम्हारा capacity से 2 hours. But फिर भी, like somebody requested and you studied, okay, by forcefully over there, that means what? You are in the super saturated state. And वो जो content अंदर तो mind में चला गया, but still वो forcefully अपने अंदर. Okay, so that means what? Your whole capacity is 2 hours. That means 2 hours के पहले जितना भी चाहिए पढ़ा लो, या पढ़ लो. Okay, no problem. So that is nothing but your brain is unsaturated. 2 hours saturated. More than 2 hours, it is super saturated, oversaturated. Okay, so some solutions which are oversaturated are nothing but what? The syrup of sugar for making that jelly fish. Right? Second is what? Our rasgulla ka jo sugary syrup, that is also super saturated. But sometimes what happens, you cool lower than the room temperature, these particles again can be seen. The room temperature is all come कर दिया तो particles the वापस आ जाएगा. If the solution is trying to, and then at that point also solution has reached to what point? Saturation. But it can never reach to unsaturated part. Remember. So that is the idea of this. That means every substance is having a different amount of saturation point. And that saturation point is soluble in what we next part here. Okay. So this is something which is called as unsaturated, saturated, and supersaturated solution. Right on this part, and then we'll proceed for the questions of this topic. Questions थोड़ा सा solubility करने के बाद questions जाते हैं. Are you getting this point? Okay. Okay, what do you write? Unsaturated solution contains lesser amount of solute. Saturated solution contains maximum amount of solute, and supersaturated contains excess amount of solute. देखिए कितने? In the solution, of course. Which class is first class today? Who has come for the first time? Anybody else? क्या नाम है आपका?
आद्या
आद्या. A double A U R. Anybody else? क्या नाम है आपका? Johan. Then Adya. फिर Kavish. Yes. Kavish ना? D. D for Kavish. D ना? Kavish. Okay, right. और दिन के बाद मिल रहा. हाँ? अपने ना? Good.